YouTube, what is going on? How is everyone? I hope everyone is having an awesome new year so far. Hope your resolutions get fulfilled. Every day above ground is a blessing. And I just want to show you another video. Um, this video is going to be a little bit different. But just to let you guys know, if you're new to the channel, if you've never seen any of my prior videos, I like to do side-by-side comparisons with the newer panels. I have, excuse me, I have a video of the G2 versus the S95B. I've got a few of those, and I'll side by side, and I also have the S95B, which is here on the left, side by side with the A95K, both 65 inch. And I'm just going to I want to do another comparison and also talk about next year's TVs that, next year is going to be stacked. It's going to be another tough decision for a lot of you people looking to get a new TV out there. Also want to talk about some of the features that the new S95C is going to potentially come out with, or rumored to come out with, or I don't know if they're like pure facts, but I know that a lot of them are from very reliable sources. And just a lot, there's just a lot going on right now with tech. And if you're in it just like I am and you love it just like I do, you know that you're probably constantly on YouTube or looking things up and trying to see what these new TVs are all about. And I do hear bits and pieces here. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm on there 24/7 trying to look it up and be ahead of the curve or anything like that. But, I'm just a regular consumer. I'm not a pro. And but I do love tech. I do love TVs, always have since I was like a kid, basically. So, but anyways, let me know if you guys are excited for the new panels or if you guys are just going to get something from the 2022 models, which are obviously, as you can see, are both ridiculously beautiful. There's really no way around it. I'm also going to show you the settings that I have in these two right now. I just put a like a demo somebody posted on YouTube of recording in 4K out here in this beautiful Switzerland. But and there's some of the things I like and don't like about these two TVs, but really they really just trade blows. As you can clearly see, they're both beautiful. You really won't go wrong if you purchase one of these if you haven't yet. And I know it's 2023 and these are the 2022 models, but man, let me tell you, there's some things that I'm really excited about for the 2023 models that I've heard are coming out, and then there's other ones that I'm like, is it really a big deal? I mean, it sounds good on paper, but is it really going to make a big difference? So we're not going to know that until those pros start testing the TVs and really digging in and letting us buyers know, what the deal is when they crunch the numbers and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to when they get the hands on and before they come out and get to let everybody know what their experience is. So, and me personally, I hope to get to that level one time or in my life and be able to share with you guys, because one thing about me is that, and I know a lot of other YouTubers are the same as me, is I really like to kind of just dig in and tell you from a buyer's perspective, from something that is not really pro related. And there's a lot of good guys out there that do the same thing and are very, very price conscious, which, I am too. And, just on the same level. So with that being said, here's what I like about these two TVs is most of the time, as you can see, there's really not a big difference at all. You really gotta like dig in. You really gotta excuse me. You really gotta look really close, and you kind of gotta be a panel snob or a picture quality snob to really nitpick things out and see. So once here, this is what I'm going to do. I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys my settings because I don't really change too much. I notice the more I try to change and do this and do that and put it in this mode and put it in, certain color ranges and things like that, I notice that there's really truly, a huge sacrifice over the other. So I noticed that once you kind of really just lightly change the settings on both panels, not just one or the other, that they look great, So most people I'm gonna think are gonna either keep it in standard mode, filmmaker mode, or movie mode. For some TVs call it one or the other, same kind of concept, just different terminology for their TVs. But most people keep it in standard mode. And I do too, for the most part. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those crazy people who actually like to see it in vivid because I do like to see certain scenes really, really pop, especially like, those CGI movies and stuff like Transformers or something crazy like that. You got to have the TV maxed out. That's how I see it as far as, like the picture quality goes. But anyways, so if I go to settings, right, on the S95B, again, the S95B is on the left, the A95K is on the right. So I'm going to start with the S95B. I'm going to go, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to picture. And then as you can see, I'm in standard mode, 16.9 standard. Then you go to expert settings and I'll show you where I'm at. So brightness, I kept at 38. Contrast, I'm huge on contrast. I max it out. Sharpness, I keep around 10. Color, I keep around 25. Although I do like it at 30. It just depends on really what I'm really watching. When you put it all the way up, I feel like sometimes, especially with the brightness, it starts to really oversaturate the colors because, Samsung likes to do that. And that's cool, which I really appreciate, especially when you're gaming, by the way. I do put the color up because it becomes helpful, especially in competitive gaming. I will say that. So that's the one thing I really like about the S95B is you can tone it down. And then when you max it out, you see its true colors. Like you see what it's actually capable of doing for you. And there's not a lot of TVs, in my personal opinion, because like I said, I have the G2 and I have the A95K that can really, that has that color volume. And the crazy part is that the S95B Mac software is HDR10 Plus. And then you got the Dolby Vision, which HDR10 Plus is phenomenal. It just has its own way of doing things, but the A95K obviously has the Dolby Vision, which is more of a 12-bit color versus the 10-bit color of the HDR10 Plus. But it's just crazy because in real world content watching, you don't see that much of a difference. Is really hard to check. I mean, you can, especially when you watch like demos and stuff, especially when demos are really kind of optimized more for Dolby Vision, you can see the difference. Then it becomes like a software versus software thing. But when it comes to like things like gaming, which HDR10 Plus gaming is, which I'm going to talk about later in 2023, is going to actually be something very interesting. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you don't really see a huge difference. You really, really don't. So with the naked eye, and again, it also depends on what kind of content you're watching. So if it's Dolby Vision content, you'll probably see the difference more. HDR tends to kind of, on the Samsung, look a little washed out when something really is more optimized for Dolby Vision. And since it can't get to Dolby Vision, it kind of, I don't know the exact term for it, but it kind of adapts in its own way or upscales it its own way. But anyway, so my tint is going to be flat at 0. I don't like to mess around with that. I notice when you mess around one way or the other, it's just not not something pleasing for me on the S95B. It's not a big deal. And then picture quality, I'm sorry, whoops. Picture clarity settings. So I got the blur reduction up, I got jutter reduction down, clear motion off, and noise reduction on auto. I like auto because I don't like to mess around with that when I'm watching something in mid stride. But anyways, contrast enhancer, I do have down. I'm sorry, I do have high. Like I said, I'm big on the contrast. Color tone, I always keep on cool. I'm a big fan of that, as you can see. White balance, that 2 point, I don't really mess around with. As you can see, everything is flat. I can mess around with it. I really don't see too much of a difference. Gamma, I like on 2.2. BT 1886 is nice too. I mean, you really can't go wrong either way. But I just feel like it does wash out a little bit more of the color, not as much detail. So I like the 2.2 along with the brightness. Shadow detail, I keep flat. Color space settings, I pretty much keep everything right down the line. And then as you can see, certain content you really can't get to. As you can see, this function isn't available. So let me just let that ad go because I don't want any. All right. So now, with this 1420 update on the S95B at this moment in time in the video, I was asking the community for help, and finally got help. And it's a little different. You can't force BT 2020 like you can on the A95K on any mode or any content that you're watching. It's dependent on what you're actually watching, which I'm not a fan of at all. But you know, that's it is what it is. Still looks beautiful. I can't really complain. I mean, BT 2020 as a color space too. Just to be honest with you, I like it because it seems like you get more natural color. It seems like you have a wider color space, but at the same time, in real life, I sometimes I just don't even really pay attention and notice a difference. I don't think 90% of the people will. But it would be nice to be able to just force it on anything that you watch instead of depending on what content it is. Because I put something, I think, on Netflix that was a little bit older, maybe like 2017. The movie was made 2016, and I wasn't able to push it to BT 2020, and then and then I changed it to something newer that was put out in 2022, you know, in Netflix. And then I flipped back into my settings and I was able to actually get to BT22. So in the A95K, you can pretty much watch whatever you want in BT 2020 and change the settings to whatever you like, which, you know, that's awesome. I'm glad that the A95K lets you do that. It's phenomenal. I mean, and peak brightness, I keep on high. So that's the S95B. Again, I don't really like to change the colors too much. You know, I tend to really only change the colors a lot when I'm gaming, but when I'm watching content, that's kind of like where I like to be. So to the A95K, the cool part about the A95K is it definitely gives you a lot more options as far as what you want to do in picture settings. So you're going to go to settings, and then you're going to go to picture settings, which I like this drop down where you don't have to go to settings and then expert settings. I like how it has its own dedicated picture settings icon that you can click on. That's really cool. So that's awesome. Keep it up, Google or Google OS, and keep it up, Sony, for letting that happen. But anyways, you go to picture settings. Show you from the top. As you can see, I'm in standard mode right there. So that lets you obviously reset the picture. As you can see, I keep all these AI systems off. Number one, I feel like when they're on and processing, it actually screws up the image when you get up close. Like I hate you lose a lot of the detail. That's my personal opinion, but sometimes the motion is not as great in certain scenes. But I will say, um, the AI technology, I think, just needs to get a little bit better in order for it to constantly be on. I just feel like it's thinking so much, and you're just like maxing out the processing in the TV so much that it actually slows it down and it kind of looks worse in a lot of ways. So a lot of that AI technology, like the sensors and the optimizing sensors and things like that, not the biggest fan of. Like this, for example, the ambient light sensors, you can see I have off. I rather not. I rather just kind of control it on my own. Oh, let me go back to settings. So now when you go down, let's go down here. We got the brightness, as you can see, is on 40, which is equal to the S95B. The contrast, as you can see, just like the S95B, I got that maxed out. Gamma I have right in the middle. I could put it up a little bit, as you can see it kind of fading up. I just feel like you lose some of the detail, almost like a regular OLED when you do that. So I really like detail a lot, I noticed. And then we're gonna go to black levels. I keep dead center right there, which I really like a lot. I turn black adjust off because, again, that's another AI setting. Advanced contrast enhancer, again, another AI setting I'm not a big fan of. But again, it's cool to have. I just wish if they're going to give you an AI setting, you'll be able to, if you turn it off, I wish you can still at least customize some of the settings in there. But anyways, peak luminance I always have on high. Color, as you can see, I got right there in the middle at 50. The hue I have dead center, as you can see. Color temperature, just like the S95B on cool. I turn live color off. That's another AI I'm not a big fan of. Clarity, as you can see, I got the sharpness a little bit up on 60. I like sharpness. Sometimes I even put it higher, to be honest with you, but I feel like 60 is a good sweet spot in my personal opinion. I'm not telling you guys to do it, but I really like it. Reality creation. So this is cool. This I keep on auto because, as you can see, it enhances the detail of the video by performing super resolution, processing, and noise reduction while analyzing the system in real time. Like I said on the S95B, I hate trying to fix a noise reduction in real time. This is kind of like the same thing, but also enhances the detail too. So I really huge fan of that. So I kept that on auto. That's really the only one I think that I have. AI, then auto noise reduction or random noise reduction too, which is actually really cool. A feature that the S95B does not have. And then digital noise reduction, I'll keep on auto. So anything that has to do with like noise reduction or anything like that, I always keep on auto, me personally. I don't want to deal with it. I just really don't. So to me, the simpler, the better. I know a lot of people out there are different. So smooth gradation, as you can see, I have on low. It says create smooth gradations on flat areas of the picture by reducing noise that appears gradually and streaks in the graduation part of the picture. So I like to keep that on low. I think it looks really cool. So motion, I don't really mess around with too much. So as you can see, I have it basically the smoothness basically right there, kind of towards the upper higher part. I do like that. And then the clearness I have on low. So video signal and then color adjustment, I don't really mess with at all either. So I'll go to color. And as you can see, yeah, it is maxed out here, but it's dead center here on the bias. So I like trying to max out the gains while keeping the picture, the color temperatures in the picture and the brightness at a certain level. I think it just brings a little bit more out of the TV, and that's, again, a personal opinion. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for that, and that's dead wrong, but I personally really like the way it looks. So, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. And then let's go back. I'm almost done anyways, but go back towards the bottom and back to advanced color adjustments. Color temperature points. Oops. Here we go. Color temperature points. Oh, let me wait for that ad to end. I don't really know too much how to really explain this, to be honest with you, because again, I'm not a pro. I'm still learning. Oh, sorry, my finger keeps getting in the way. But so here, let me back out and start over again. You're gonna go back, picture settings, gonna go all the way down, advanced color adjustment. All right, so we're gonna go here. As you can see, again, maxed out, right? I don't know why I did. Okay, sorry guys. I'm gonna go back down, and then temperature points right here. So these temperature points, I don't really like. These are just, I think, presets, right? So you can save it to each preset. But if you see, it tells you here, this function is for advanced users and requires professional picture calibration tools. So I don't really use this, obviously, because I don't have the tools to use it. There are people online that say you really don't need the calibration tools to do it if you know what you're doing and da 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 da. But I don't really mess with it at all. So I just think it looks just fine personally. And yeah, can you make it look better? Of course you can. But you know, how much better is it actually really going to look? I really don't think it's going to look that much better. And then the per color adjustment would be, as you can see, pretty much dead center. And I like to keep the lightness a little bit on the higher side, as you can tell. So you can bring it down if you want, but I tend to really like it to be here. So as you can tell, the A95K definitely has a lot more picture settings. And the fact, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something. And the fact that you can do this, watch, go back. Let's go back to, sorry, where was it? Here. Was it video signal? I'm sorry. Yeah, video signal, and then color space. The fact that you can do this, right, and put it into BT 2020, as you can see, right now I'm in 2020, change it to Adobe RGB, DCI, sRGB, BT.SO9, or auto. I love it. I keep it on auto, but that alone, how you can just force it onto any picture mode you want. I mean, I really appreciate that from the A95K. It's amazing. I love it. And you can be in standard mode, you can be in movie mode, you can be in any mode you want, and be able to push it to BT 2020, which is awesome. And watching any content too. So again, that's the way I have my settings. Now, when you do the comparison, let's back out so you can do the comparison. As you can see, they're so close, right? I'm recording at 4K at 60 hertz, by the way. I know we all know that these TVs can run at 4K at 120 hertz. But if you look, there's really not big of a difference. Like just casually look, you will see some differences, like right here, like on the land. And there's really nothing you can do. You can make it as close as possible. Like, let's say, all right, I'm gonna back out. So let's say you want the A95K to look more like the S95B with more color pop. I would say it's harder to do that than to really downsize, or I should say, or downscale the S95B to make it look closer to the A95K. And I know that sounds crazy because I just showed you that you actually can adjust more in the A95K in the picture settings than you can in the S95B by a pretty good margin. But at the same time, it's just the way that S95B and Samsung, I guess, calibrates or sets their picture up, or whatever you want to call it, or their algorithm of how they do it, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what to call it. It's just going to, for some reason, have more color volume. Um, they have a different system and a different way of doing it, even though they're the same exact panel. And the A95K panel is a Samsung panel. It's crazy. They have their own way of doing it. So, for example, as you can tell right here, like look at this area right here that my finger's going over. See how it has like more color to it versus the A95K? So my point is like if you like more color volume, um, you're probably gonna go more with the S95B. It just naturally just has more color volume. Um, but if you like the more natural look, and I'm trying to make the TVs as close as possible to each other, you're probably going to go more with this one because if you look at the same area right here, it definitely looks a lot more natural. You know what I mean? Right there. And is that Dolby Vision? I don't know. I don't think so because I don't know if this, you can watch this in Dolby Vision, but look at that. So you see what I'm trying to say? The difference in? And then now, let's say you're more of a natural person, right? Look at the clouds, all right? All right, so you see how they actually have darkness to it, a lot more darkness to it, versus the A95K. If you look really, really close, it has a very slight pinkish hue even in the clouds. Doesn't really have that there. And you see how like because it's a little bit darker, you see how it has more detail. Like look, like this area here, like where it contrasts against the darker parts of the clouds. If you back out, you see how there's like more detail, right? And then it's a little bit more washed out here. So again, they trade blows, you know what I mean? So it's hard. You can try to make them as accurately close as possible to each other, but you're never going to have them perfectly the same. It's just not going to happen. It's just not how it is. They're two different brands, two different approaches, and that's what I say in all the comments is that's the beauty is no matter which way you go, you're a winner. And you're not even going to notice the difference really when they're like, unless they're next to each other and you're nitpicking, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just trying to show you my experience and what I see. And if something is important to you guys as a buyer that you're looking for in the TVs, I'm just trying to point certain things out and literally show you instead of just telling you so you can see for yourself. So I know it's a little hard because you're watching through YouTube and you're watching through my camera. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but I'm still just trying to be as detailed as I possibly can. Please excuse me. I am not a pro, but that's how this TV to me and my impressions. I mean, I've been going through the settings just strenuously. I mean, spending hours learning these TVs, and I'm honestly, after all the different settings I've been doing, most of the out the box settings I kind of went like reverted back to. It's crazy. So, especially on the A95K. Because man, I've changed the settings dramatically on some of these, and a lot of it was because I was gaming on it. I played a lot of, again, I play a lot of casual gaming on the A95K, like RPGs. I just finished God of War. I did the entire game from beginning to end. Actually, probably like 99% of it, to be honest with you, on the A95K. I loved playing it also on the G2 as well, that I also have, but I'm more comfortable playing it up here, or in on the A95K, because I just like the TV, and I just wanted to really try it out, and try it out meaning finish an entire game. So that's the cool part. That's what I'm a fan of on the A95K. And that's what I'm a fan of regarding the S95B. They have their strengths. They both have their strengths. And as far as which one you guys like better, that's going to be on you. It's your hard-earned money. You know what I mean? But either way, if you're going to go with a 2022 panel, I would say most people, because of the price point, are going to go with the S95B. It's more, especially if you're a gamer, you have 4 HDMI ports at 120 hertz running at 4K versus the A95K only has port 3 and 4 that can do that. They're all going to have, so when you're playing, you're sacrificing 2 extra ports. Some people that's a big deal. Some people it's not. To me, I really like the four ports just because if I'm going to use the TV for something else that requires that kind of 4K and 120 hertz, then I got it, and I can use the third or fourth port to it. Same thing with the LG G2 as well. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much that. Let me go to another demo. See if maybe you guys think. Let's see what you guys think. We'll go to, here's a nice one here. All right, so let me ask you guys this. Has anyone seen anything about CES 2023 at all? Has anyone at all been paying attention, or have you guys been researching or anything for the upcoming panels? Because I have, and here's my outtake on it. Some of you guys know obviously a lot more than I do. Like I said, I just only been really paying attention little by little. But what I got out of it is that, number one, I know that Sony hasn't revealed anything yet on their next panels. I feel like they're going to be kind of following Samsung's suit because they still run that QD technology, and Sony is using Samsung's panel. So maybe they're just kind of waiting to see what Samsung is doing so they can kind of make their adjustments on their end when they get their panel again, when they get Samsung's panel again. That's my outtake on it. And at CES 2023, they were really, advertising a lot of, Sony PlayStation 5's new games coming out, the PSVR 2, which I'm excited about. Who's getting the PSVR 2, by the way? Anyone? Let me know. Anyways, but the big thing that everybody's talking about are the 2 TVs, which is, of course, LG with the G3 series and Samsung with the S95C, and how they're going to be able to, and now you're going to be able to get a 77-inch. And then I also found by very reliable resources is that with the Samsung, I noticed in the S95B, they're really gearing hardcore. I mean, they're going like full throttle for gamers. You can tell by the color volume. You can tell by the 4 HDMI ports. They got the VRR. They got the NVIDIA, the G-Sync, the FreeSync. They got it all, and all 4 ports. So that just tells you they're really gearing. They're going at full throttle to attract gamers. And they know that gamers, once they see those features, they get so attracted to them. They will spend the money and buy them because that's what gamers do. But anyways, especially big gamers. And I'm one of those big gamers. And anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that the 2023 models, right? What I've heard from other reliable sources, you're going to be able to see on YouTube too, all the pros, a lot of them. HDR10 Plus gaming is going to be able to run at a full 4K, 120 hertz, and then Dolby Vision gaming will not be able to. And that's the current rumor or status right now. So I'm not sure if Dolby's going to step it up. Now, listen, if Dolby does step it up, right, because I think HDR10 Plus gaming, I think if I'm not mistaken, they're still going to be at that 10-bit color graphic space or whatever you want to call it. Dolby Vision is already at 12-bit, but you can't do 4K at 120. So if you can, if they change their way and to be competitive, and they actually do announce and reveal that you're going to be able to do it on the 2023 models, then Samsung has their hands full, because Dolby will have the one up, because or Samsung or Sony will have the one up because they have the Dolby Vision gaming. You're going to be able to play it at a 12-bit instead of a 10-bit like HDR10 Plus gaming, and you're going to be able to get that 4K at 120. That's going to be crazy. So you're going to start seeing a lot more video games come out in both those platforms, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be extremely interesting, because sometimes, regardless of 10-bit versus 12-bit, sometimes the 10-bit still looks better in certain ways. And again, that's just my opinion. Sometimes I like the color better. It's not too, and I know you get more color with Dolby Vision because it's the 12-bit color space or 12-bit color. But I don't know. It's up to you. It's again, it's going to be a personal preference thing. So that's one of my big takes out of it. That's like one of those things that are stellar for me. So another thing I've heard, which I said in my last video for Samsung, is for first-person shooter competitive gamers, the Samsung is going to have like a built-in aim erectile or crosshair that you're going to be able to use for to improve your aiming. I kind of am not a fan of that at all. I know a lot of the newer generation gamers are, because that's kind of, they were like raised into that. I just think that's cheating, in my personal opinion, and I don't think that's improving your game. I think that's just really just supporting your bad gaming skills, and just cheating. That's what I think it is. But anyways, that's my personal opinion on that. I don't think that should even be allowed in competitive gaming, because I feel like that's going to give you the edge versus gamers that don't have that and that feature. So I'm not a big fan. But anyways, that's another outtake I had. I definitely seen some videos about Hisense. Seen some videos about TCL, and I've heard that TCL was coming out with their own QD OLED panel, but then I heard that TCL came back out in public and said, no, that was a mistake. We are not this year coming out with QD OLED technology. So I think that's kind of canned, which I know a lot of people are upset about, because that would have been awesome to see TCL come with that QD technology. You know how they're more of a budget TV, but I wonder how they would have really changed the game as far as that goes, because of the pricing and things like that. So, well, let me know what you guys think. You could, are you gonna wait for 2023 TVs before you buy something, or are you gonna buy something right now? Did your old TV kick the bucket and you need something more immediate? And what your opinions are. So what's important to you in a TV. I'd like to know, because my thing is like me, I'm big on both. Like, I'm a gamer, but I'm not a PC gamer. I'm a console gamer. So I know a lot of PC gamers are like, oh, you're not really a gamer if you're not a PC gamer. I don't think so. I think that's complete BS. If you're a gamer, you're a gamer. It doesn't matter whether it's on console or PC. And why do you think they're coming out with cross platforms? Because of that reason. Gamers are gamers, whether it's PC or console. So that's why they have a cross platform. So there you go. We're all in the same community. I just like to play on a console, and I like to play on a TV instead of a monitor. But that might change, with these new with these new monitors coming out now, I mean, you see what they're coming out with these days. Is they got QD OLED gaming monitors out right now, and they're phenomenal. And they're becoming a lot more immersive, a lot more responsive, things like that. So, but yeah, and let me know what you guys think about the Connect box on the S95B for next year too, because you know they have the S90C that's going to be just a regular. It's going to be very similar to the S95B, just a little bit brighter or brighter. They said it's going to be able to reach 2,000 nits. And remember, guys, what happened with the S95B when it first came out last spring is everybody. I mean, you can see the trend through the year. Everybody was hyped. The hype was crazy when it first came out, the initial software update or the initial software, the TV came out bright and blaring and popping out, and everybody was like, "This is the best thing ever! Oh my God, how can the A95K that's coming out soon even beat this? There's no way!" Blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, the came out, the A95K came out, and then Samsung came out with a software update and dimmed the TV. It's all marketing. You guys got to remember that. So they're saying, oh, yeah, you can reach a peak brightness of 2,000 nits. Then, you got to remember they do that for marketing and for sales and for advertising because they want you to know what the TV can do. But if it stays like that, will it kill the TV faster? Will it, will you burn your TV out? Because remember, the S95B and the C for next year, it's not going to have a heat sink. So, you know, my point is that don't get too caught up in the hype because that's what they do for sales, and then they downgrade the picture quality or the brightness so the TV lasts longer. And I just wish they didn't do that. I think that's I don't even think they should really be allowed to get away with that, to be honest with you. But you know, that's a different topic and a different conversation. So, but right now I'm looking at these two TVs. And I really like the way the S95B is looking, even though it doesn't look as natural. I just feel like it has more color pop. Even the motion actually looks better on the S95B than it does on the A95K, I must say, in this particular 4K demo, I got to say. But it's probably hard to tell from your end because you're not there personally. But there's a little bit more judder in the A95K. There's more smoothness coming out of the S95B right now. It's hard to tell in this type of setting. So, but anyways, you can still tell they look very, very similar. So they're both beautiful TVs. They both have their advantages, and you really can't go wrong either way. So I just want to thank you guys for your support. I want to thank you guys for messaging me and helping me through this process with the settings. I'll start shouting you guys out. I'm sorry, I wanted to do that, but there's so many names in the comments that were helping me. I will shout you guys out. So I just want to let you guys know I really appreciate all of your help. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Please like and subscribe. More videos coming out. Once I get to that level, I promise you guys I will be doing giveaways. I promise. Obviously you can tell if you just go on my YouTube channel, it's very, very small, but it is growing, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And it's growing fairly quick. I wish I wish you guys the best, and please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It means the world to me, and I'm hoping that you guys stay safe for 2023. And if you guys have any advice at all on anything, please let me know. Or what picture settings you have, or what do you prefer picture settings wise when you're playing versus when you're watching content and things like that. You know, to me, that's a big deal because I like learning from other people and like getting their perspectives and things like that. That's just how I am. So, thank you so much, everyone. Sorry to go this long on these videos, but just wanted to let you guys know that I'm always thinking about you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.